So I'm sitting here at my buddy's house and in New Jersey, and I'm gonna say it, Drinkin' Dave. Everybody loves it now. Everybody loves it. Drinkin' Dave, and I'm sitting here and we're just fucking talking, and I was thinking, it always brings me back when I see you. You know what I mean? We win. You always just like brings back so much stuff, right? And then I was just realizing this morning, none of it fucking matters. Like, even all the hard times, like I think about things I went through with everything, leaving Japan, my daughter, whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter how tough it was. I'm just sitting here. It's a beautiful morning. The pool's here. We're going to go wind sprints. We're going to go swimming. It's like, it doesn't matter at all. Nothing matters. Like, just drinking coffee here. It's weird. It's just like, it almost feels like I'm breaking a law or something, or like I don't care. But it's not true. I care very much about those things. But at the same time, like, life is just kind of a day-by-day thing. And like it's just the daily in the daily, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what I was thinking when we woke up.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about just the perspective you get, like, say even getting a few years from like a problem or something that used to matter or something that hurt. I just feel like sometimes when I read a book about like people from like 400, 500 years ago, it's like people got over stuff or recovered from things better. Like, you read some story like about some guy like Columbus or any random guy, from the 1500s, 1600s, it's like in his 20s, it's like had some disease, or like poverty, gets rich, poor again, has kids, the kids die, 3 wives die, or is like held prisoner for 10 years, comes out, rallies, it's like a lot of this, you know what I mean? There's a lot of this stuff like where it's like the guy's like wealthy, famous, but then runs into his enemy who then like puts him in like chains and shackles for 6 years, immediately gets unshackled, fucking rallies again, has like 20 more kids, half of them die, and it's just like, the guy's not, there's no like this, like, they're not ruined, so I sometimes I just think like the way we're designed is to actually be able to recover and get over stuff, like pretty serious blows, like I'm still pretty convinced that, even like the worst kind of heartaches, like a really bad heartache, it's like extremely crushing. Yes, it's crushing for weeks, months, but not years, or shouldn't be, I don't think. It's kind of like, if it's crushing, I think if something's like crushing you for years, you kind of have like a role in that. It's partly your, you know what I mean? And I'm guilty of it. Maybe we all are modern people. I remember some girl, like the most beautiful girl in the world that I lost. I had the most beautiful girl, like, at one point.
Did I know her? This chick?
No, this was before I met you. This was like, it was just like I was in my 20s, and I just got the most shockingly perfect, beautiful one, like the kind like where you walk down the street and people are like asking to stop if they can take a picture with her. Cars like getting, like cars slowing down, the whole night, just brutally hot.
Yeah.
And, of course, thinking life's always going to be like that. So anyway, kind of like, that's a long story, but like, something happens like where, and she breaks up with me, right? Dude, I was like, fucking thought I was destroyed. And I was a little bit, part of it was a little bit my problem because I wouldn't let it go. I think I had this picture, like this painting. It wasn't of her, but it looked like her. So it reminded me of her. I think I kept that thing up on a wall for like 20 years.
Oh, shit.
You know?
Wow.
And I'd go look at the painting. I'd be like, oh God, I can't believe and I'd sort of dwell on this. And after a while, I was like, dude, take that picture off the fucking wall, throw it away. Like, that girl doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh no, not at all.
Like that particular girl whatever I was in love with, she's probably like a water buffalo now.
Yeah.
She is a water buffalo. Mm-hmm. The hottest girl in the world. Like, give her 20 years and she's a water buffalo.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what am I doing obsessing about it anymore?
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting because I was just thinking just a small point, but I had a girl. There was a girl for some reason was in love with me when I was back in Japan recently, and she was. I don't know how to describe her the way she looked. She's difficult to put into words, but there was something about her. She's like now a famous DJ, and she just made guys into her, and she was totally in love with me, and that was a weird dichotomy because I had fucking nothing. I mean, like, I literally had left China with losing my business. Like, I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have any money. Like, I was living in my friend's office in Osaka for like using cold water shower in the winter.
Ooh.
Dude, cold water shower is a hose in the winter when it's snowing.
That actually maybe help you live longer.
Well, and it was like I never actually talked about this. This is true. Me and Adam, we left because I lost everything, and I was kind of, at the time I was supporting where our company was, and so then all of a sudden my friend's like, come on over, and that was really nice because we had a place to stay. We could stay in Asia, but like the bathroom, it was weird. It was right next to, like, two buildings are really close together in Osaka, so the bathroom window was broken.
Right.
Okay, but it was kind of underground, kind of half underground. But there's no way anybody would squeeze between that building to get there. There's no way. It would be too dirty, and like no Japanese person in their right mind would even think of it, right? So anyway, the window was broken. So when you would take a shower with the hose, when it's snowing, it's like being outside in the snow with a cold hose.
Ooh.
And taking a shower. That's how it was fucking bad. Because Osaka was cold in the winter. We got there right before the winter and went all the way through the winter. I mean, it was still mind-numbingly cold in April.
Right.
And me and Adam both did it. We fucking did it. We both took a shower with that fucking hose. Because both of us are clean people.
Right.
Like, both of us are cleansing. Like, it was tempting not to take showers,
Yeah.
It was, man. It was.
Yeah, I would have faltered there.
And then, then once a week, I went to the gym. Because I always go once a week. So,
you could shower at the gym.
So they had a hot shower, and I would just sit in there for like an hour.
Right.
Like, I didn't give a shit. I was just like, getting warm. But anyway, so I came up.
The gym membership, it's like gym memberships makes being homeless a little bit better.
Oh, if I had a membership, this was like a government gym, and I just wanted to pay. I didn't want to pay every day for that,
right.
So just once a week. But the thing was, so my self-esteem, and also I had left all my clothes. And for everything, I lost all my shit because I couldn't take it. It's in China, so I had very little stuff.
Interesting.
And then when I got to Tokyo, I went up to Tokyo for some reason.
Wait, but just a quick interruption. So there was a point right there where you fucking got completely crushed and lost everything.
Oh, big time.
Okay.
At 50.
But it's not the only time in life, right?
No.
Me too. There's been other times, right?
There's been other times.
Me too. Like where you just go right down to fucking zero.
Oh, we went to zero, dude. We went to zero. We bought all our food.
Yeah, and you can rally from there.
Well,
and you do rally.
Yeah,
but it's like
The thing is that I was there, and then my self-esteem was kind of in many ways getting lower. Like I was not. Exactly. I think these things change you at some level.
Right.
And so I was not feeling confident. So I wasn't out picking up girls. When I go out on the street, I just wouldn't, kind of talk to girls really. And I kind of like wasn't feeling that confident, right? So then I came to Tokyo and went to a Bitcoin meetup and ended up meeting this girl. And she's like on the other extreme. She was like 20. She was super attractive. Like guys would literally, that's what made you think of it. They would literally drive a car. You know, I'd be going down Roppongi.
Right.
You know, Higashigai Inori in Roppongi. You know, like the one that crosses. Yeah. A car crossed over all the lanes and just asked her out right in front of me.
Oh, right.
The guy just like comes over and he's like, hey, and it was funny because it didn't bother me that much because
that's funny.
Well, when she was totally in love with me, so I wasn't worried about it at all, and that made no sense. Like to this day, it makes no sense, and I still know her, but it's funny because
it's weird when they just have to. It's almost like you can forgive them because they couldn't really help themselves.
Yeah, the girl was so hot.
It was literally like he wanted to keep driving.
Yeah,
but he had to come do it.
It wasn't personal against me at all.
No, it was like
it's
almost like in the back of his mind, he's like begging you, please don't kill me. I couldn't help myself. I just have to do this.
Right. He's like, I'm a rich guy. He was driving a very nice car. I forgot what it was, but it was like I looked at him and I looked at her and I thought, wow, that doesn't usually happen to me. Like I don't usually have girls that are that hot to other guys.
Me neither. You know, a couple times, but like, no. I remember the times. Like I remember those times. I'm lucky I had any moments like that. I had it like twice, only twice. Twice girls like that.
And you had a fucking fuck ton of women. I mean, we're talking very, very attractive women. We're talking women that just put you in a spell, right?
The two that were traffic stopping and guys, the only two. I mean, only two that were like that sort of, you know.
Dude, mine now is not looking good. Yeah, she now has had a bunch of plastic surgery, and she's older naturally, you know.
Yeah.
And it just didn't go well with her, and I think she's still considered beautiful. She was rated the most beautiful, blah blah blah. But
it's fleeting. It's fleeting.
Anybody that knew her back then knows it's not even just over. It's like the grave is dug and the dirt now is settled and the grass grew and
they can still be attractive, but that sort of like that ephemeral, fleeting moment of like when they're that, when they're that beautiful. It's just like I was just talking to a guy the other day, like just yesterday. We were talking about some girl from the past. We all remember her because she was like, looked like,
Oh, yeah.
I was like...
What age was this, like junior high or something? Or
No, this was like...
Because that age had the most impression on me when I was in junior high.
I think that's...
I remember the exact shape of every girl's ass that was hot in my PE class. Like, I remember the exact... And I talked to other guys, exactly the same. My brother and his friends... We all know whose ass was a little bit better than the other ones.
Dude,
and we had the same opinion.
Oh, that went away in junior high school. I had that for many years after junior. I had that all the way through college. Shit.
Well, we got the phone ringing here. What time is it? It's
okay. Turn it off.
13 minutes.
But, yeah, but that's.
Yeah. No, baby.
But we were talking about some. It's like sometimes you can talk about a girl from the past and be like, you remember her, and everyone would be like, yeah.
Oh, dude, this one girl.
And then everybody's like, even though it's like 30 years later, it's like they're still like, she's still beautiful. I'm like, come on. I mean, I'm like, she's.
Dude.
Like,
get real. She's not fucking beautiful.
Right.
At all. Yeah.
I mean,
No. It's over. A flower blooms, and then it dies. And that's the way a flower is.
They can still be nice looking.
They can be nice people. I mean, that's fine.
Right.
As far as being hot, you're out of your fucking mind. It's just, it's a memory. It's not real.
It's a memory, right.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, sometimes what we're actually attached to, or like where all the suffering comes from, like, is the memory. And I think it's like, not to be, it's almost like a Buddhist like cliche, but it's just something like, it's like I was very in pain with that, when I lost the most beautiful girl in town. It's like the most beautiful girl in town, like. and I had her, and because I was young, whatever, it like ended. My fault, which is, in a way, it might have even been lucky that it ended, because I was like, probably would have married her, and she really wasn't like, I don't think she was the right one for that, even though she was the most beautiful girl in town, and because of and when it ended, and I was like I was very hurt, I was like it was a pretty hard blow, but I think like, part of like my problem with it was that I didn't in my mind, she was always the most beautiful girl in town, and stayed that way in my mind.
Oh yeah.
And I had that painting on the wall, like where I'd go light a little black candle, put a few put a few dead flowers under it, it was like a little shrine, and I just kept that memory alive,
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's funny. I had a memory. I was just thinking. I had a girl. You probably met her. You remember Cowrie? Did you ever meet Cowrie?
yes.
I bet you did. When I met her, she was very young. I mean, not very young. She was 22, and she was just very spunky.
Married?
Oh no!
Oh, not married.
No, this is another one.
So I don't know her.
No, this one's young, and she was just very spunky, and she always had like. She just had a charisma about her, like
right.
a smile,
right.
and always happy. And she was just like this, like firecracker. She was just a firecracker.
Just a good Japanese girl, right?
Yeah, just such a good girl. And she
right.
always, whenever I did something, I remember one thing she did. I put on this porno. We were just going to bone her. I used to always I would scour the world for the exact porno that I wanted to play for the girl that I wanted to do something with. And then I wanted to do some act that was in that video.
That's kind of...
And I would put it on, and then they would do it every single time.
That's kind of like superpower. That's
it works.
Interesting one.
It works absolutely perfectly. And you just need to find the little section that they do that one thing that you want, and then play it for them.
And bear down on it.
Well, no, you don't, actually. You can actually even turn the volume down. Some girls, they get sick to their stomach watching a porn. So, like really innocent girls... So you turn the volume down, and then it makes it easier for them to kind of glance at it. It doesn't take much. All it takes, women are very suggestive. They go with suggestion. So when they see somebody doing something, they feel like it's okay for them. I realized this a long time ago.
Right.
They feel like it's okay for them to do it.
Or they didn't realize or they didn't know. Or it's almost like, oh, that's how you do it.
Right. Maybe that too.
I think that happened to me once. Like I think I had this Japanese girl one time. And she just, was like, I mean, how, like...
Just go, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like...
She's never taken the ass or whatever?
No, it was more like, with like a blowjob, like, it was like, like, almost like 99 out of 100 girls don't really know what, like, it's always like, at best, average.
Okay, wait, let me just say something.
Usually.
No, I gotta say something here. I think there should be a blowjob episode. Women greatly overestimate their abilities in sex. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Like, we should fucking do a whole episode on this.
Absolutely.
And no one tells them any better because they're always kind of happy that they're actually doing something.
From a scale of 1 to 10, they're all gliding around 3, and they all think they're 7s and 8s.
Yeah, we should do an episode. A whole episode.
All of them. I agree. But you sometimes run into a rant. Like sometimes, like it's why it's at least when I was younger, or at least like from my 20s up until my 50s, it was like kind of like a numbers. It was almost like there's something to be said for like just like getting lots of girls. Not so much as like I think some guys do that as like an ego thing. Or they kind of, but for me, sometimes what that was, it's almost like the lottery for me. It's like you don't really know what's going to happen until you fucking actually get your dick in it. Like, I don't really know, in a way, and like, and I just remember this one Japanese girl, and like, I don't know if it was because she watched the right porn or something, accidentally, but she nobody told her, but she just thought like a blowjob meant you're just supposed to ram the guy's cock into your throat, like just gagging, spitting, like skull crushing, fucking like just.
I hate that.
You don't like that?
No.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not into that. No, I'm not into that at all. In fact,
you're not into like
no.
You're not into like
no.
just like the like graphic
no.
fucking deep throat.
I'm not into like what the thing that they do on videos now, which they're spitting on it. And
No, yeah, I'm kidding. Okay.
All this stuff.
Yeah,
I am not into that at all.
Okay. Take out the spitting, but just just like the gorging throat fuck.
No.
Really?
No, never was into it.
Okay, well that's a little odd.
No, no.
Go take a poll. Like I'm just telling you, like you might want to double check on that, but like ask some of your friends. Yeah. Like gagging fucking deep throat dude is like pretty fucking good. I'm pretty surprised.
No, I'm not into it. I never
really
was. No, I never liked it. You know.
Okay, so forget this story.
But the thing is, it's still good because that's what you like, right?
Well, it's rare.
The thing is, I've had girls do that. I'm not saying I've never experienced it. It's just that I just don't get off on it. I realized at some point, and that's one advantage of having, like you said, like having a lot of experience with women. Yeah. However you get it, like whether you go to Thailand, pay a bunch of prostitutes, doesn't matter. How you get your experience in life with women, it gives you clarity on so many things. Like
right.
For me, that wasn't the way I got it, but I know a lot of older guys that do get it that way, and they come out the same. They come out just seasoned, confident guys in the end, and for me, like, because they know what they want, they know what they don't want. So what I don't like is when a girl. This is one of the things with bad sex. So many girls are not good at it, and they just do whatever they did before or they saw in a video, and they're not at all looking at you and your reaction. For me, like one thing I learned from having all those women, I realized they're all different, and so I have to look at them. And this is one thing that drives me crazy is guys will say something about sex and they'll say, well, she loved it. Girls will hear that, let's just say on a video or whatever, and they'll say, she didn't love it, she this and that. I understand what they're saying. What they're saying is like some guys are not good at sex, which is, I'm sure, absolutely true. But if you know different types of women, if you look at them closely, you'll realize they're so different, all the women. Like, it is incredible the difference in women's sexual response.
Right.
And you have to like read that woman. You know, a lot of women, this is one thing I just thought of the other day. They always say that you have to have sex for a long time. It has to warm the girl up, and she's a volume love. I tell you, that is some girls is absolute fucking bullshit.
Right.
I had girls that came within like 30 seconds. Like right off the fucking bat.
You don't really know what's going to happen or what they're like.
Like I just went straight in, and it blew them away.
Right.
And they just came all over the place, and they never said anything about it. But it was like,
no, they're all different. Yeah,
and also every day is different. Every time is different because one girl, she does one thing one time, and this is the hardest thing. For me, it's the hardest thing is. I look at the woman and let's say that I just get lucky and I kind of unlock the safe on the first one and I really nail her exactly what she wants, exactly do it right. It's very depressing for me because then I know the next time, the odds I'm going to crack that safe, because the safe is different the second time.
It's almost not good when you when you hit the fucking jackpot, like when you go over the fucking moon, over the moon and back the first time. It's like it's almost unsustainable. It's almost like
totally unsustainable. There's no way because of women's sexual response is so complicated, and women never appreciate.
It's better just to like walk off into the sunset and leave her that memory. Like you're a god forever.
Right. It is better in some ways.
Right.
Definitely for her, probably because she's like, okay, I had a great experience with that guy.
Right.
And there's never anything mediocre. There's never anything where anything didn't go exactly that way. But, so for me, I realize I like what I like and they like what they like. And so I'm looking at a million hues with them. And you know what really drives me crazy is when they can't forgive you for one little thing. Like, they might love something one time, and then they don't want it all the time. And so then you do it again, and they're like, oh, again. And you're like, how many options are there for men? Like, you're looking at the woman, right? You're like if you, a lot of women listen to podcasts now. Like, imagine you're looking at a woman and you're trying to. I think lesbians really have to deal with this. Is you're looking at her and you're trying to think, what could I do that's different that she would totally dig on? And it's like fucking, yeah, you might do a few things. I mean, you definitely could drive her insane and she could fucking come all the place a bunch of times, but forever, like the next time, and also the higher you go, the higher the bar is for her. It's just like a wealthy guy. He buys her a car, he buys her a house. She expects that shit. Whereas a poor guy gives her,
what I used to, I mean, it wouldn't. I just remember like one time, for whatever reason, I was like kind of I think like maybe you care more than I do. I'm a little bit like I want to get my rock off and then move on to a pizza. You know what I mean? Like,
I care. I do.
That's very nice of you. I mean, I sort of do.
Well, no, because I groove off of it. If I drive her, if I see her face changing, and I see things going on with her, then
that's nice.
I lose it. You know,
that's nice. That's nice. You're like that. I've been like that at moments, but I'm kind of like, get my rock off, move on to a pizza in the baseball game, and I'm pretty happy. You know, like, and you know the girl might be a little bit like, I'm a little bit like, whatever. You know, so. That's good that you're like that. I've been like that. I've had like. But here's the downside to be for me. The downside to being because I've been like that. You know, like particularly with the girls very orgasm. You know, they're not all like some girls. Like not all girls are super fucking orgasm. Some girls like have one orgasm. They're like leave me alone. But then there's the type of girl like that's just like the more orgasms they have, the more they want.
Yes.
Like that, you know, yes. And then, so you're like an hour into it, and she's like, fuck me all night. And I'm like, all night. And I might do it, and I might do that like 2-3 times. Then I'm like, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, pizza, fucking TV, you know, I want to go to like,
I kind of think most women are like that. If you unlock their sexual, whatever it is, Pandora's box, it's kind of hopeless. So
yeah, it's like I don't want that to happen. Almost.
That's why I
don't really want it to be like turn into like, because like 3, 4, 5, 6 orgasms in, I'm like, fuck man, this is like going down into the salt mine. Dude,
I just figured it out.
I almost want to bring in a team.
I just figured it out.
I
just figured it out.
I want to call my friend and like put blindfold her and like just bring in the hockey team. You know.
Yeah. No, they won't be enough.
And I'll come back like I'll step back in the line.
It won't be enough. That's the thing. No, but I just realized what it is. I just fucking realized it. I can't believe I've never heard it before. Lesbians always say that women have more orgasms with women than men. Now I don't know if that's true because
I could believe
just because everything's repeated doesn't mean it's true, and anything about sex is self-reported, so it's always very questionable.
Well, they also employ machinery.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was just gonna say. Is that a lesbian? Like I've had lesbian that I worked with and friends, and they tell me what they do. You know,
right.
So the first thing they'll do is they tend to. The ones I've had known, they tend to seduce girls who've never done it before. So like a housewife. So the first thing is she's in serious variety land because she's never been with a woman before. That's one thing. And then they will go all weekend in bed from like Friday to Sunday, and like chocolate and oil and everything just never. It just kind of like, as soon as it kind of comes down, it comes back up. And they're constantly going for 3 days. The only reason why men don't do that is because it would be a chore. It would be just like looking at them and then just vibrating them. And it's just like work. Whereas like 2 women, they can do that. It's not as it's too vaulted in society, women's sexual response. It's like, it's somehow this super high thing that's whatever the fuck. But they can go on for a long time up and down like that.
Right.
You know, men's sexuality is very interesting too. And it's like, it never gets any attention. So I get tired of this, like, fucking, it's so many princesses out there now. Like, they just don't, like, men are interesting people. Fuck. Our sexual response, like how we drive society, how we, you know, like it is pretty cool, like knowing about ourselves. But anyway, like, so women, yeah, like it's just fucking machinery, really. It's machinery, and the fact that they want to keep that ship going. They want it to roll. Whereas for us, like it's like, how long can you really go? I mean, let's just say you have a vibrator and you got oil and all that. You got all the stuff that lesbians are going to use. You know, rose petals on the bed or whatever the fuck.
And I'm at my peak, I'm at my peak.
Yeah, you're at your peak. And the longest
so I can go.
I ever fucked a girl was about 3 hours.
Long time.
Yeah. It was something like that. I forgot. I actually said it in a video and it was true. I remembered it. Now I literally can't remember how it was. I remember the girl. I remember the day. I remember everything about the sunshine, everything, but I don't remember how long. It was really fucking long. And it was only one time. And I could never, my dick swelled up the next day afterwards because the skin was like raw.
Ouch.
Yeah, it like swelled up.
Yeah, ow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it can only take so much.
Right. I rarely, for me, I'm not sure. It was something like that. But for me, the only reason why that happened, I think, because it was like drug induced, So there's sort, like, for me, any type of like strange like marathon thing, like, more than like, I mean, I've had girls like force me to go like an hour, and I kind of felt like, and I did that, and that seemed like a fucking long time to me, like I'm, like, to me, like a half hour can be epic, but for
sure it can be.
At half hours, it can be fucking epic, and it's like, but some girl, but then your ego or whatever, the girl like pushes you, 45 minutes an hour, but like beyond that into like some strange territory of hours upon hours, for me that was always drug induced. Oh, it's happened a few times, like with like.
Well, mine was, there was no drugs, but the drug was the fact that she was so hot and it was our first date, and I was doing her in the ass.
Okay,
it was unbelievable for me.
Okay.
It was like I only knew her for 15 minutes before we had anal sex.
Oh, that's, yeah.
And she was super hot.
Well, there you go.
So it was like a drug.
Right.
Because I was so
that's
weird.
Kind of a one-off. Yeah, that's like, right. So
I was
that's
like this fucking beautiful
yeah.
whore.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
I was just like, I can't believe this. And she didn't say anything.
That's amazing.
And I'm just like,
oh, that's a great,
fuck.
Yeah.
My dick was just, it was like, this is going to be an epic day. And
that's a good day.
And she was totally into it. We never even did it in the vagina. It was all.
I love that.
And it was like, so yeah, no, it was on drugs, but it was.
Those girls are interesting. The ones that, I had a girl like that once that just wanted it exclusively.
I remember you told me about it. Which one was that?
She was Polish.
Polish, yeah.
And I don't want to be denigrating.
No, everybody always says that Poles, they like to do that. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing, but
No, that's a thing. Everybody tells you that.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of common knowledge. I've never had a Polish.
I had this beautiful Polish girl, pulled her right out of a bar, just perfect fucking ass. She was just super hot. At the bar, like 20 guys around her. For whatever reason, she liked me. Took her out.
Yeah.
I think I fucked her in the pussy once because maybe she was shy. Maybe she was too shy to like just. I think it was like one time she was like, I like it in the ass. And that was it, and it was only anal.
She gave you the red light, green light, yeah.
No, demanded it. Demanded it.
Oh.
Asked for it by name.
Wow. Okay.
Exclusively,
yeah.
and I was like, I was like, okay, I was like, psyched, I was like,
yeah.
And like it only lasted 2 months. It's like because it was like great anal for like 2 months. And then she strangely calls me and she's like, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, baby, it doesn't work like that, I felt bad. I was like, is this like,
yeah.
I mean, this is like a bad Polish joke in a way, like, and I'm not like that.
She liked you, yeah. She was pregnant with another guy's kid. and she like.
Well, no, she was lying. She was lying to see what my, she was just lying to see like for whatever reason, like
how you react.
Something about like just, like 60, maybe something happens when you bang a girl in the ass like 70 days in a row. They have to like say something weird to you to see how you react.
No,
I don't know.
I had the opposite. I had a girl who, for some reason, somehow I fucked her in the ass, but it wasn't really hot or anything. But I just, for some reason, just thought, well, we've done everything else. Let's do that. So we did that. Not a peep out of her. Not a single word. She was totally, I would say, above average, good looking. Not hot. Definitely not hot, but a little bit above average.
Okay.
Right? So let's say she was about, in real numbers, she was like a 6 or 7, right?
Pretty good.
Yeah. And so either way, it slipped in the ass. She didn't say a single word. So the first time I was like, that's pretty hot, because you just seem so conservative, this one. And so then, and then the next time she wanted the ass again, and then again. And then it was like, I just started to look at her. She would just sit there and I would do it. But I just wondered, it wasn't really passionate. And she was just like,
taking it.
She wanted it. Yeah, she always wanted it in the ass. And she always was happy, never complained. But it was like, it wasn't hot to me.
Right.
It just wasn't hot. It was just like, it was always there. It was, I guess if I didn't have much experience, I would have thought it was hot. But I was like, fuck, this is not hot. And I'm like, fuck. And then every time we just end up being. And then one time I did do it in the pussy. And then she didn't say anything. She didn't complain, But it was just like, there was something manly about her.
Right. It sounds like maybe she was just letting you have sex with her. Like
I think her dad had sex with her.
Or some of them just don't really.
No, I think he did. I think her dad. Her dad was extremely wealthy, and she was really a daddy's girl. And she was not young. She was like 32 maybe, and she always. And her dad was. She's super rich now, because she inherited his vast fucking fortune.
Right.
And so he was a president. He started a pharmaceutical company, like a big, So but she, I think she was sexual. Yeah, I think he had sex with her. I think so. I really.
Who knows?
No, I tell you, money on that. I would put money the way she talked about.
Right.
Like that's why she wasn't married, is because he was kind of married to her, but then she was kind of tired of him. When I met her, she was like ready for new stuff.
Right.
But she would never let me meet him because she knew. Because I like golf and he plays golf every day. But she would never let me play golf with him. But it was weird. I think maybe it was... I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm almost positive that there was sexual abuse. Like, I'm almost positive. Her reaction, her voice... I've never been wrong before when I predicted girls and then asked them. But I never have been wrong, ever. I think that's what happened. And so she then was kind of just fucked up,
Right, which is sad, which is too bad.
Something was turned off in her.
Right, which is unfortunate.
It was.
It is unfortunate. Right, that's kind of a sad story.
She was, the funny thing about her is, she was, because he was rich, she was the perfect girl to take out. She knew exactly what to say. She knew exactly how to dress in every situation.
So it's an interesting
business meeting.
It's interesting because it's sort of like we were talking before about how as we can sort of recover and get over it, you can sort of get your heart broken and rally, go down to zero and recover. But there is something to be said for some people have trauma that, there is trauma that does, that can affect you. There's things that happen that can affect you, whatever, whatever it might be, PTSD or, there's something that can, maybe there is some residual effect, particularly if something happens maybe when you're too young or something, or it's too fucking weird. But I guess I was just talking about simple heartbreak, just simple, you're a mature person. You're not a kid anymore, and you get involved sexually and have relationships. I just feel like no matter how fucking bad it is, the heartache or whatever happens emotionally, you should be able to fucking rally and recover from that. Maybe it takes a year. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think there's anything that can happen in the realm of, like, emotions, any type of drama, the worst fucking...
Money, status.
The worst fucking thing in adulthood. Like...
How about health? Would you put health in that? I would.
I think so. I mean, it could be, maybe it's like, I mean, I guess you can get... I think so. I think you could put that there too. It's a
little higher level, but yeah,
it's a little higher level. You might have it might make you a little more afraid of like your health or like it's like skin cancer. Afterwards, you're going to be careful of the sun. You might be a little bit more wary of the sun,
which would be smart,
right? There's that, but but I'm talking more like about like. I loved this girl. I trusted, like she cheated on me with my best friend. To whatever the worst fucking, it could even be like I married her and she was like a whore the whole time. Like I was paying for her and she was just like she was paying the pool boy.
You reminded me of something.
I'm talking about like the worst kind of fucking outcomes. For say the worst kind of outcomes a man can have with a woman, I feel strongly that a man is built so like just think of like the evolution, like think like you're like a fucking caveman from 200,000 years ago. You gotta fucking rally and move to a different fucking cave and find a different cave woman and fucking rally at some point. Like I can understand like staring wistfully at flowers for maybe 6 months or like writing caveman poetry, putting up
arranging rocks,
doing like,
Tyrannosaurus bones.
Instead of like making pictures of bison and fucking saber-toothed tigers on the cave wall, you put a picture up of the girl that got away or the one that like broke up with you. But someday you gotta fucking rally. You gotta somehow. It's got to be like you can look back on it like and just be like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Or more than that, it's like that girl, that particular woman that was like so fucking paramount in my mind actually no longer exists.
Well, that's what I was saying the last episode. They're old and ugly now.
Right. It's like...
And depressed.
Like whoever those two people were that had that experience that like maybe even traumatized you.
Yeah.
Those particular two people no longer exist.
Yeah.
You're not that person anymore.
That's right.
It's at that particular exact point in time, the two human beings that had that experience, 1 year, 2 years away from that, those two people no longer exist. So why are you still like in that emotional, why are you still like limping, you got to fucking rally.
Well, at some point,
rally. You just can't.
Here's what's going on. Here, what it is you are no longer living in reality. You're living. So imagine you're walking around with three. Remember those old reel to reel they used to use in the movie theaters.
Oh, I used to have one in the basement.
Okay.
People had them at home. I love that.
Yeah,
like, there'd be movie time,
porn. Yeah,
you'd have the. They have the.
Yeah.
My parents didn't show us porn, but they pulled down the movie screen in the basement.
Wow.
Had the basement with like the shuffleboard and like
we
the bar.
We like in the trailer park didn't have this kind of stuff, but
you missed out.
No,
you missed out. I mean, there's other.
We had the TV, but the thing is
black and white. Rabbit ears.
I don't remember. It was probably color. I'm sure it was color because it was California.
Pretty nice trailer park.
Yeah, we had color TV. We were into that. And what else do we have? What did we have? I mean, like motors and stuff, But anyway, so
just random motors in the yard,
there's a lot of motors around, like just people driving things and fixing things. And
working motors, not just sort of discarded motors.
No, like you.
That's still a pretty good trailer park because there's the ones that. There's like the trailer park with working motors, and then there's the one like where people discard their used.
Well, there's like tractors you could jump on. There's things that you could do.
That's pretty nice.
And so anyway, like you when you are like there's that, you were saying that ethereal moment with you and her were there. After that's gone, this is the way I think about it. And my last episode actually was about how to get over the one. And it was a really hardcore. You'd like it, I think. But at that point, imagine this is what you are. You are no longer living in this world. So now you're in a basement, right? And you've got like a movie, like a reel-to-reel on your head, like attached to your head, like those metal square things that the old guys sometimes have with bolted in heads. You know, they have the bolts in the heads.
Oh, is this like a Clockwork Orange thing? Like
No,
you're
but
forced to watch something?
No, you've got this. You're watching this movie, and there's a little screen in front of your face, and you're watching this movie as you walk around.
Oh, I see. So you can't help. You have to watch it.
Well, like reality, you're no longer looking at reality.
It's like the Matrix.
You're watching but you've created it. Like as you're looking at the relationship that used to be, and you're like still living.
You're reliving it,
and the moment doesn't exist anymore. You got this movie theater, and you're watching it, and you're walking around, and there's no life to this movie because it's just a repeat.
It's like a 3-dimensional thing that's been turned into 2 dimensions.
Yeah,
right.
Now it's 2-dimensional, and meanwhile, life outside of this dark movie theater is happening.
Right.
But you're still in there watching this old movie that doesn't exist.
Right. There could be an even hotter chick watching you watch that, being like, "What's wrong with that guy?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you finally have to say, "I'm going to take this, reel to reel off my head. I'm going to turn on the lights.
Right.
I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to get out of this theater. I'm going to walk out into the sunshine, pouring in the door when I open it, and I'm going to never come back to this shit."
That's right.
That's
right. You might walk by the theater every now and then, like have like a cold fucking shutter. You walk by like, I remember.
Yeah.
I was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the only one in there. It's just like this lifeless. You've given up on life, and you're watching a movie of a past life.
Right, and in that movie, it's like Marilyn Monroe stays Marilyn Monroe forever. It's like the beautiful girl is like captured in that moment, stays like that forever. But yeah, she's only.
I think a lot of guys too, like they do that with sports, high school football or whatever.
Oh, right, it's like the high school football star.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really true, but I know that people do that, where they live in the past, and it's like,
right.
I very much live in 2022. Like I'm right here,
right?
And I'm very interested in how my life has changed, how I've changed in the years since I was a kid, and it's very interesting, like how much I could have never predicted my life being this way,
right?
Being so free and just kind of cruising around, having friends. It's very strange. Life really is.
You up for eating? I feel like I'm starving. I got to eat something.
Yeah, watermelon. I don't know, food. Yeah. All right, so what was this episode about?
I think, I'd say it was something about, the main thing I was thinking about was like how you can have experiences that really affect you, but, men should eventually rally. Like, there's no, I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, I think,
but just
that thought that you were saying, like, I think you were saying like 100 years ago, 500 years ago, men could overcome, these very devastating blows.
Right.
And I think that's an important story because as a younger person today, if you don't know that men did that before,
right,
you're going to take it more seriously. Whereas if you're like, wait, it's not a macho thing. It's just knowing that it was possible. It's like the 4-minute mile. As soon as one guy ran it, everybody ran it. Because they knew, humans can go that fast.
Right. When I read these stories about like what men were like a couple hundred years ago, I was a little less like, it helped me sort of like, whatever happened to me 5, 15, 10 years ago, I'm a little bit like, okay, turn the page, like,
It's hard, but
it's hard, but it's almost like society today almost feels like you almost feel like you're allowed to like be in sort of like group therapy forever, talking about some bullshit forever.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting?
It's good to do that. It's like that, being somebody, being with my friends, or like being even maybe being in group therapy, who knows, but like talking about trauma, talking about the girl, talking about the one that got away, talking about that it's like, for me, I just realized that I was doing that. I had to accept a little responsibility. I was the one that had the painting of the girl up on the wall. Like, I made the shrine. Mm-hmm. Like, there was like the painting of of the most beautiful girl in town. Like, that ended like 20 years ago, but the painting of her was in my room, and I was lighting a little black candle there for a long fucking time.
I think,
and I was like, that. And it occurred to me one time, that has to stop.
I was going to say this.
It's got to stop. The girl doesn't exist anymore.
One good thing that someone could take away from this is read biographies and autobiographies of people, because when you read about these people overcoming stuff, it helps you to.
They're tough, man.
Yeah, you realize that you are the same stock. Like, we are evolved from them.
We're the same as them, really. We should be. I don't see why we'd be any different.
No, it takes 20,000 years, or 40,000 years for evolutionary change to take hold. So basically we're the same. But the other thing too is, so one is that you can learn from them. But I think that there's one very important point here, very important point about change, is that when you say kind of like, oh, I'm going through this really hard thing, and then these guys overcame these really incredible things. The hardest thing at that point in the change, is that every man knows this. You realize that your hardships are kind of bullshit, and they're not really a big deal. And so, the guy from 500 years ago who fought off 400 grizzly bears is a good story, because you realize that fighting off this mosquito is possible. But you also realize how bullshit you're being. And so I think that's one of the things that keeps guys from changing, because they're like, they start to see themselves, it's like a parody of a challenge, really, compared to what men have done. And so then they get embarrassed and they decide not to change, because if they want to, they can keep up this, I've been traumatized, I've been this, and everybody will accept them. No one will even ask what it was. They'll just, if you just hint at it, everyone will just accept it. So you can go on, you can trudge on your whole life with this mindset, and you can get away with it. I mean, people will abandon you, they won't want to hang out with you, but at least they won't criticize you, right? But when you accept what it was you're having difficulty with, and this is about having a good sense of humor too, is you realize that you're really fucked up over something that is not really that big a deal. Now, maybe it is a big deal in different ways. Life is complicated, but you have to be ready for the fact that maybe it's all kind of a joke on you, and be ready for that, just to laugh at yourself.
Right.
And you realize these great guys who did the grizzly bears or whatever, they also had the same kind of thing. We all, it's like,
and then eventually they had to put anything into perspective and even probably have a chuckle over it.
Well, they probably had more evolutionary pressure on them to go and advance. Like, they probably had a situation like we don't have today. Right. They really couldn't do what we do today. They couldn't be this victim all the time. Like, their dad's like, get the fuck over there and fix that fucking thing. Well, last time it fell on me. Well, fix the fucking car.
Something like starvation. Starvation was stalking them at all times.
Yeah. So they had, in some ways it was easier because they just had to do it.
Right.
Whereas for us today, we have this option of not doing jack shit. And so that's part of it is realize that our challenges, even if you're looking at them thinking they're stupid, don't think they're stupid too quickly, because it might be quite difficult, really, because we always have the option of not facing it. And that option, humans want that option.
Yes, that's
so like, it's pretty fucking
that's the worst, actually.
So it's like you're fighting a mosquito, but you can just spray it with bug spray.
To be or not to be. It's like you want to stay in that weird limbo of just not facing it.
And also sometimes when you discover you're fighting this small thing that seems like a joke, once you really accept it and you laugh at yourself, 2 minutes later you'll realize why you had that fear. And you'll go
Right.
down a rabbit hole of something that truly is terrifying.
You don't really get perspective on the fear
Yeah.
until you've moved through it, and it's like, there's so much of that, like fear of, that could be a whole.
A lot of times, one thing led
that could
to
be
another.
that could be a whole other discussion.
But
actually,
but that's why
fear.
you shouldn't
That's
be
a good-
afraid of facing it, because
Right.
it might at first seem like a joke and you feel like you're being a fool, but then just accept it, and accept that every man has had to go through these phases,
And generally, it's not when you get through it. It's whatever you were afraid of. In a sense, it's rarely like exactly what you thought it.
That's right.
It's rarely that. It's like usually you get through and you're like, oh, it wasn't. It's like they say like fear, like false evidence appearing real. It's like it's a little bit like, there's real fear, but then a lot of times it's like it's something in your head that's like could be like 90% removed from what it really is.
I was just thinking the exact opposite. Sometimes I'll learn a lesson, like I talked about last night at the meeting, right, where I didn't get voted in as the secretary of the
That was
meeting.
funny, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is I'm sure there was mitigating circumstances at that time,
Right.
And everything, but I choose to take the lesson that I was kind of like at the time. This guy who wasn't. I get you guys don't know the story, so you can't really understand. But basically, what I'm saying is there was mitigating circumstances, but I do the opposite with the story. I make myself look like a fool, to laugh at myself, even though I wasn't really that much of a fool actually in that circumstance. But you need to laugh at yourself sometimes.
Yeah,
you do. You just have to laugh at if you get pompous or if you just do something really stupid. You kind of sometimes there's some benefit in just kind of. It sounds like I don't think modern society realizes, like I talked about shame being important before, and like I think laughing yourself and just kind of being the butt of a joke once in a while, like allowing yourself to do that.
Yeah,
there's something really important about that.
Yes, I
not
agree.
taking yourself so seriously.
Yes, just at some point,
and always trying to defend.
That's when you know.
yourself.
That's when you know you're better. You know you're okay. It's like when I lost the most beautiful girl in town, I cried. Right, and she made fun of me for like I remember crying, like I remember like weeping like a fucking baby, and her just like making fun of me for that. Like really shameful fucking shit,
Oh.
But I can fucking laugh about that now. So it's you know what I mean?
It could have gone any direction. I
can laugh about
let's
that
just
now.
end on this.
Yeah.
I had a girl, and I talked about her, Judy. And when we broke up, it was, she became Christian, and we were like 19. We've been together for like 4 or 5 years. And now, other girls, happened in that period for me. But, I was in love with her, right?
Right.
And when she kind of went the missionary route, and then she said, like, are you going to be like more serious Christian or not? Because I'm going to go that way. And I was like, I can't do that. I've never been able to lie or change myself for women. Like, that's one of the big benefits why I'm still free. It's because I can't do that. So I was just like, I can't do that. No, I don't believe that. And so she went her way, and I was just like, she would come over after that, I remember. And I would cry and everything. But the thing is, she never made fun of me, ever. And now, how many years later is it? It's 40 years later. I think she's still in love with me. And I think if her husband dies, I will put money that she's going to call me. Money. She was in love with me. So the reaction of being very sad, there's nothing really embarrassing about that. Like, this is your one love. This is your youthful love. Everybody has that. Every man. A man's heart, when it breaks, it is fucking brutal.
Oh, brutal.
It is so brutal. And no one cares.
I guess what I'm saying, at some point you should be able to look back on it with a chuckle.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but like you got that from her. I got empathy from mine. She looked at me, and I know
that's nice.
She knew.
Boy,
it was very sincere what I was feeling, and at the same time, I think she felt it. But her mind was like, "No, I can't do this because I gotta follow my religious path, right?"
Right.
And that she probably prayed a lot, and that girded her against those emotions. Whether that was smart or not, I don't know. But that girl that did make fun of you for that very just stabbing you when you're down, right? That is not really the greatest girl, I'll tell you that. Fuck that girl. That's all I can say on that.
Yeah, in the end,
you didn't lose anything.
No, I might have gotten lucky. I might have gotten married to a full reptile. I mean, that was like kind
of
pretty
reptilian, dude.
Pretty reptilian, yeah. I know. I kind of look back on that and I'm like,
think about it.
I know. No, I'm happy. Like the woman, the woman I'm with now is like is like an angel of light.
Yeah, look at the young man.
I was almost with, the most beautiful girl in town was like, in the end was like full reptilian. Fucking gods, it was pretty, yeah.
Well, look at Romeo and Juliet. The story was she took the potion, and then she went to sleep.
Right.
And then for a couple of days, but he didn't know that. He thought she killed herself, so then he killed himself, right?
Right.
And the thing is, that is a young man's love.
Right.
A young man's heart. That's what that story. It's not about a woman. That Romeo and Juliet is about Romeo.
Right. Well, Juliet was a good girl.
She was a good girl, but Romeo was the guy, and you were Romeo, right?
Oh, fully Romeo.
And Juliet,
which is funny, that's like
Juliet comes out of her sleep and she's like making fun of Romeo.
Right.
Fuck Juliet.
Like Juliet wakes up, she's like, "What a fucking idiot."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck that kind of Juliet, man. That kind of Juliet is for the streets, dude. That's all I can say.